in the course of that decade, and as I became a young academic in the 1990s, it sort of ossified into something, I don't know, in its worst phases, something like a jargon, a special language which showed that we as academics were doing something important and different from just people out there reading books, you know. And I mean, this is an old argument, and it's not one that's particularly important to rehearse again now. But there was a time when it seemed to me that academic criticism was doing its absolute level best to distance itself as far as possible from the experience of readers, the experiences of readers outside the seminar room. And more that felt like an absolute dead weight on me. And, I think that plenty of people in discussions of literature outside universities talk in platitudes and banalities. It's not that I sort of glorify all talk about books, but it seemed to me a really bad thing that there was this sort of gap between people who were actually fortunate enough to be paid to know about literature, to think about it, to read it carefully, to have the privilege of recognizing reading one book that it was actually related to another one. That's basically what academics are really good at, which ordinary readers often can't do. Yeah. This book is actually telling a story that's been got from another book, and it's parodying a third book, and it's quoting a fourth book, and that all comes together to create the complicated effect that it's having on me. So, academics do know things, but I think they should feel under an obligation to make the things they know intelligible to others. And I think, I have friends who are in other disciplines than the humanities who have similar thoughts, who think that philosophers should be able to explain their ideas to ordinary people, that historians should be able to engage, a general audience and not just their own PhD students. So, it's not a very unusual motive, I think, but it's one that was formed by that particular period in literary criticism, when literary criticism became literary theory. Jane Austen came a bit later, because the discovery to me was that two things really, that Jane Austen was essentially the novelist I most loved. That took a while to find that, but that also more than any other novelist, I mean, there are others who fill this category, but more than any other, there was a huge readership, which included lots of readers who knew a lot